from the Philippines. I studied in the Philippines almost all my life prior to the MBA. So I went to school in the Philippines for high school in an all-girls school. And then I went to university in the Philippines as well, in the University of the Philippines. I studied business administration and accountancy. After that, I worked for Shell for 4 years. And then I did my MBA at Wharton. After Wharton, I currently work for McKinsey and Company. I've been there for a little over 1.5 years. So to make, well, I don't know for other people, but in my case, how I made myself stand out from all the other applicants is, I don't want to sound cliche, but it's just simply to be yourself. For example, I didn't win an Olympic gold medal. I never climbed Mount Everest, and I don't have a startup, $1 million startup that solved world hunger or whatever. So I think what I just highlighted are things that I think are unique to me. Very, very small things. For example, like in my case, like what I think is unique to me is that in whatever endeavor I do, like whether it's big, like a big presentation at work, or something really small, like teaching a high school student a math problem, I always give my 100% best. So all the time, no matter how big or small it is. So that is what I highlighted in my application. The second thing is to stand out, I guess, among the other people from other parts of the world. I highlighted things that are unique to my country. For example, like doing business in the Philippines. Like, for example, when I worked for Shell, I used to work in the province of the Philippines. So I was based in in the provincial areas of the Philippines where people don't typically work. So I highlighted that in my application. And I also have a family business, which is not so typical, I guess, for people from the West. It's very particular to people in Asia and Southeast Asia. So I also highlighted my experiences dealing with a family business, which I felt was unique compared to other applicants from Europe or the US. Okay, so I chose to go to Wharton for 3 reasons. So first is I was looking for a school that had a strong network in Asia, particularly in the Philippines, because I always wanted to go back home. And Wharton has probably the largest alumni network back home. Second, I wanted to have a program that is quite quantitative and rigorous. Like some schools specialize in like general management or leadership, but Wharton is really going to be data-driven. So I wanted something quite rigorous and quantitative. Third would be, I guess, I just felt a fit with the people there. So I did an MBA relatively older. I was already 28 when I did an MBA, which is quite old compared to the average age of like 25, 26. So at Wharton, the average age is around my age. So I really felt that, in terms of experiences, it would be parallel with the rest of my classmates. So when I chose my school, so to me, studying abroad, there's 2 parts, right? There's the studying part, and then there's the abroad part. So the studying part is like about the ACADS, whatever. The abroad part is you really need to choose what country you feel would be a fit for you. So given that I lived in Asia all my life, I wanted to study in a country that is most different from what I experienced all my life. So I was in the Philippines for like 28 years. So I wanted to study in a country that is very different from the culture I was used to. So I decided on the US because it's far away from home and it's very different from Asia. I also, between like the US and Europe, for example, I felt that the US schools were a better fit for me when I researched like the different strengths of each of the schools. So I decided to go to the US. So I think it was not because of US schools in particular, but because I really wanted to go to Wharton in particular. So that's why. So for my application process, the sources of information I used, so I checked out lots of forums online. So there are various websites with that group together different people who are applying. You can share tips with one another, etc., etc. I also used books, so there are quite a few books available on like how to write a good MBA essay or how to make a powerful application. So what I didn't do much of, which I felt I should have done more of, was to speak to ask alumni, for example, to read my essays. So I guess that could have helped me more, but I advise you guys to do it if you're applying. I can't remember. No, I don't remember the books, but the websites, I think GMAT Club, Beat the GMAT, etc. So for the application, I wouldn't say that there's one most important part, so I don't want to be cliche, but I think they really look at your application holistically. So it's very hard to say that one particular part, like the GMAT or your grades or the essay, are most important. So it really depends on a case-to-case basis, the situation of each person. So yeah, I don't think I don't. There's really not one single part, that is most important. Okay, so what I wrote about in my application essay. So as I mentioned, I don't have any life-changing thing like whatever, running a marathon that is like 100 kilometers or whatever. So I don't have any of those things. I'm just kind of like a normal person. So I actually just wrote about normal things, and I wanted to show that even in normal things, you could draw deep insights. So for example, I personally wrote about, so when I was working in Shell, I worked in sales for quite a while. And I had a very difficult client who really didn't like me because I was a fresh graduate. So she felt that maybe I couldn't help them in their business. So I just wrote about how I was able to make her change her mind about me. So I didn't write about, like increasing sales by $2 million or whatever in a company. So I just wrote about things that I did well in my small way. So my essay writing process, so the way I did it was I started out, rather than reading the questions first, I started out with myself first. So I wrote down what are the experiences that I felt really shaped me as a person, like what are the things I'm most proud of. So I wrote them all down and then reflected on how they changed me, so that I felt that my essay would bring out the best in me rather than like trying to make myself fit with the school. And then from the experiences, that's when I started matching them to the essay questions of the schools that I applied to. And then after that, I made an outline, typical like normal best practice essay writing, and then I wrote the essay. So what I didn't do is I didn't ask anyone else to read it because I'm quite shy and I guess I'm quite insecure with my work, so I didn't want anyone to see it. But I think that's something that when speaking to my friends, really helped them when they ask someone else, like alumni of the school to read it. So there are a few funding options available for international students. They're like, for example, Wharton, for example, they offer a few scholarships. For example, many of my friends got scholarships at Wharton, so I myself was able to get like a partial, like I think half my tuition was paid for by Wharton. This is not a loan, it's just a scholarship. So for example, Wharton, if they feel your application is quite strong, they automatically grant you like a scholarship. There's no need to submit a separate application or whatever. There are also student loans, but to be honest, I'm not so familiar with the process since I didn't avail of the student loan. Okay, so I think all the things on budget are available at the website. So right now, Wharton says that the first year the budget is $109,000 per year, 70% of which I think goes to tuition. So I think that is accurate. So in my case, I felt that whatever was published on the website was quite accurate. So at Wharton, like 95% of students live off campus. So yeah, I lived in an apartment. No, so once you get in terms of finding housing, once you get on Wharton, like you automatically join like the Wharton Facebook, and then many of the old students, for example, the graduating students, they offer their apartments for lease or whatever, and then it's easy to. It's not difficult at all. So for me, like the question is about like whether or not it's worth it to get an MBA in the US if you don't get into top 3 or top 10 school. So for me, it's not really about the ranking. So top 3 or top 10, the rankings change almost every year. Sometimes your school will be in the top 3, sometimes it'll fall out of the top 3, sometimes it'll be in the top 10, it'll not be in the top 10. So for me, it's not really about the ranking, but more your fit with the school. So if you like the school and you feel that at that point in your career, that school will bring your career forward or will help you achieve your personal goals or whatever, then you should do it for whatever reason, whether or not it's top 3 or top 10 or top 100. So that's my personal view. So maybe this question I'm not this. For me, like for example, the question is about whether it is worth it to get an MBA abroad given the uncertainty with H-1B visas. So me personally, when I did an MBA, I never considered working in the US after. So it's not probably an answer. So even before coming to MBA, I always wanted to go back home because I really I think Asia is the place where all the growth is. So I really after MBA was decided, I wanted to go back home. So the career option I considered was what I am consulting now, and that was also the primary career option I considered when I was at business school. So if I could choose between, if I were to do it all over again and choose between like an MBA or a more specialized program, to me, an MBA and a more specialized program, they're completely different things, right? An MBA, other than like the academics you learn, like supply chain or marketing or finance or whatever, there's also a large focus on leadership, general management, connecting with people. So I think it really depends on each particular person's situation. So for example, I already did a business degree before. So I really felt that, in terms of business concepts, I had quite a good grasp. So I wanted something that focused on more soft skills. But there might be somebody else who had a different experience. Maybe at work, he felt that general management or leadership was something he really learned a lot of. So he needs a more specialized program like supply chain management or whatever. So I think it's really a case-to-case basis. And it depends on you and whatever your personal needs and aspirations are. Okay, so the best thing about studying at Wharton was certainly all the friends I made. So an MBA, not just at Wharton, but many MBAs, they really offer diversity of like nationalities, cultures, etc., etc. So now I feel like anywhere in the world I go to, I have friends who I can call real friends. Because over the 2 years, we really did everything together. So there's really like a strong bond that we share. The worst thing is probably the weather. So I really love the tropical weather in the Philippines. So it was really bad for me during the winter at home. So I think my advice is that it's just always choose like the school that you feel is a fit for you. So it's not about rankings, or it's not about it's not about or like the job that you can get after, whatever. So it's just where you feel you will shine the most and where you have the best experience, and that's crucial. Okay, so if you have any more questions, please visit a friendabroad.com.